Hello, everybody. This is Mickey Gilley, and you're listening to the sound of Louisiana. Stay with us with some great country music.
What's happening, Party Animal Nation? It's me, hashtag RDM Russell Devin McLain, and you've just started your weekend off right because it's Friday, and you're listening to the Radio Random Network. Thank you for hitting the download button on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, or wherever you're listening to us from. I especially want to thank our sponsors who make it possible for me to bring to you two great shows every week free of charge. I'm talking about Racket Sound and Lighting. Racket Sound and Lighting is a full-service entertainment sound reinforcement stage, lighting, and DJ service. Plus, it's big production on a musician's budget. And that's one of the reasons why when I do a gig, I call Racket Sound and Lighting. You should too. Contact Bob Tolar today at 225-773-4639. That number again, 225-773-4639. And I can't forget my favorite real estate agent, Keller Williams Realty Premier Partner, Tanya Halford. Tanya can help you with all your real estate needs. Contact Tanya today for your free consultation at 225-202-0657. That's 225-202-0657. You can also support the Radio Random Network by rating and reviewing the show on iTunes or Stitcher Radio. You can tell a friend via social media. You can shop with our sponsors, and you can also advertise your business on our weekly shows. To learn more about how to support, visit rrnonline.com and click the Show Some Love tabs at the top of the page. I got a great show for you today. I'll be talking with country music icon Mickey Gilley. All right, song of the day is from Sammy Kershaw's brand new album, I Won't Back Down. The album will be available June 9th, and Sammy will be joining me next Friday right here on the Radio Random Network to talk about his new album and a couple of other things that he's been up to lately. You subscribed, you're listening, now enjoy. We'll be right back. Y'all don't go nowhere. We got a great show for you today. On with me today is a very special guest, one of my personal favorite singers of all time. It's hard to give this man an introduction because he's pretty much done it all. The one and only country music icon, Mickey Gilley.
Hey, Russell. Good to be on your show.
It's good to have you, my friend. It is good to have you.
Pleasure and honor. Thank you.
So how you been, Mr. Gilley? What's been going on with you?
Well, I've been doing fairly well. You know, in 2009, I had an accident, and I was paralyzed from the neck down for about 2.5 months. I couldn't do anything much at all. But I'm back up and walking again, and I'm out doing my shows on the road, having a great time. For 25 years, I spent in Branson, Missouri, you know, having the people come to the shows there in Branson. I finally decided that it was time for me to go back out and take the music to the people. And I've done already a tour in Canada, and I'm fixing to go back up into Canada and do another one in July. So it's been quite rewarding for me to go back out on the road and see the folks that I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, speaking of which, you're on the road. You'll be here in Louisiana in Bossier City. I think it's the Margaritaville.
Well, I tell you what, I'm looking forward to coming down there. I'm going to get to play Margaritaville, and what an honor and a pleasure it is to be there in the Shreveport area. I hope people come out and enjoy themselves. I'm looking forward to coming and performing. Well, you know, the folks give me 17 number one songs, and I can promise you one thing, that I'll do my best to do all 17 and get them as close to the recording that they've heard on the radio. So if they come to hear the performance, I think they'll get a kick out of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they will. Well, let's rewind a little bit, Mr. Gilley, and let's talk a little bit about how did all of it start?
Well, it started back when I was just a kid growing up in Fairleigh, Louisiana, with my two famous cousins, Jerry Lee Lewis and Reverend Jimmy Swaggart. We went to the Assembly of God Church, went to the same school. There's only 6 months difference in our age, and I'm the youngest, the best looking, of course.
Yes,
but,
indeed.
How'd you get a kick out of that? But we grew up together. My cousin Jerry started playing the piano when he was about 7, 8 years old. I jumped into the fray when I was about 13. Jimmy, of course, became a evangelistic gospel performer, and was one of the largest selling gospel singers in the world. Jerry made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I followed Jerry Lewis into the music industry, and 17 years later, I finally had my first number one song. It was Room Full of Roses in 1974. So it's been quite a ride and quite a thrill to be out there in the music industry with all the folks.
Yes, indeed. Now, you were talking about Jerry Lee and Jimmy Swaggart, and I actually got to I did some research, as I always do, but was on YouTube the other night, and caught you and Jerry Lee together on, I think it was Pop Goes the Country, the Ralph Emery show.
I had some good times back then. My accident took a few things away from me when I fell, hurt myself. And one of the things was playing the piano. My hands haven't returned where I can play the keyboard yet, but I try to reiterate to the people, I'm carrying a 7-piece band with me and 2 girl singers, and we're doing the music as close to the recording as we possibly can for the folks. So I don't want that to deter them from coming to the performance, because I try to make the show entertaining and interesting for them. And if I don't get the crowd wound up, I tell them a couple of corny jokes, and that really puts them together.
Yes, indeed. Well, let's talk a little bit about your accident. It was something that simple you do every day, and it changed your life forever. Can you give us a little insight on exactly what happened?
Well, I had played golf all day long at a little golf course called Thousand Hills Golf Course in Branson, Missouri. I think I played 36 holes golf that day, so I loved the game, and I wasn't very good at playing golf, but I enjoyed the game so much. And, of course, I was out having a few drinks with the guys I was playing golf with. The guy asked me if I'd help him move a little love seat. It weighed about 40, 50 pounds. I went over to the house, and I picked up one end, he picked up one end, and I backed out of the doorway, and I stepped into a flower bed, and I fall backwards, and I landed on the back of my neck. And then at that time, I was 74 years old. So, being as old as I was, I didn't spring up like I should have. I woke up 2 days later in the hospital, and I was had a neck brace on. I couldn't move. I'm back walking now, and I can do just about everything that I was before. The things that took away from me was I can't fly my airplane anymore. They took my medical away from me. I can't play the piano just yet. I hadn't given up on that, and I can't play golf just yet. But those are the two things I'm going to try to achieve maybe this fall.
That was in 2009, correct?
I failed at 2009, July the 5th.
Wow. But you're back up walking? And
I'm up walking. I'm getting around pretty good now. And like I said before, the music is as close to the recording as we possibly can make it for the folks. So I don't want to be deterred by not coming just because I'm not I'm out in front of the audience trying to do my best to, make the music sound as close to the records as we possibly can. I think that's the reason why the people keep coming out to see Mickey Gilley.
If you want to keep up with Mickey Gilley, he's very active on Facebook.
Absolutely. I've got a Facebook page. It's called Mickey Gilley's Personal Update page. If they go to the Facebook page, they can see and hear me talk about, where I'm going and what I'm doing. And very short period of time now, I'll be talking about the job we're going to do there at Margaritaville.
And one other thing, too, I wanted to ask you, because there's been rumors, and I've yet to confirm with anybody, but Pasadena, Texas, over there where you had your famous nightclub, Gilley's, is there plans to reopen a nightclub?
We are working very, very hard with the city of Pasadena. They want to do another Gilley's in Pasadena because it was the largest thing that ever happened here. And we have got some people looking at it, and I feel like that we will have another Gilley's Club in Pasadena, Texas. I have one at Treasure Island in Vegas. We have one in Reno Sparks, Nevada. We have 2 in Oklahoma, and we have 1 in Dallas. So I'm trying to keep the name out in front of the audience and let the people know that Gilley's is still alive and well. And there's going to be a documentary on the 13th of June on CMTV. So if they get a chance to tune in and watch the documentary, I think they'll enjoy that too.
We'll definitely share the links. And, speaking of Gilley's, I mean, you were a part of a major movement in the 80s with the Urban Cowboy movie with John Travolta and all of that. Do you remember when they brought you that idea about the movie?
Well, I remember when the guy wrote the article on it, and he called it The Battle of the Urban Cowboy for Esquire magazine. His name was Aaron Latham, and he came down to Gilley's because he heard about all the hoopla because my business partner had put a mechanical bull in the club. Now, the mechanical bull is a rodeo training device, and I thought we had made a big mistake when you put that thing in the club, but it turned out to be a blessing because I knew people were going to get hurt on it. Sure enough, they did, and we got sued several times about the mechanical bull, but we got to film The Urban Cowboy starring John Travolta. And I remember going out on the airplane with my business partner, Mr. Cryer, at the time. And he told me, he said, I know you didn't like the article in Esquire magazine. I said, no, because he was putting country music down. And he says, no. He said, let me tell you what. I was going out to do the Merv Griffin or the Mike Douglas show. I'm not really sure which one now. And he said, don't say anything negative about the article because on TV because we might get a film. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, John Travolta's looking at it. And when he said John Travolta, it dawned on me at that time, he's coming off of Saturday Night Fever. which was a disco craze.
Right.
And now he's going to come and do a thing, at a honky-tonk. I said, we got a country night fever fixing to be born. And sure enough, it turned out to be a big thing for country.
Yes, indeed. A lot of things come out of that, especially music-wise. Your friend Johnny Lee.
He had the song Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places, probably was a major song in the film. And, of course, my favorite song in there was by Bob Skaggs. Love, Look What You Did to Me.
Yes, indeed. Now, playing in a cover band, I will tell you that there's no telling how many times I've had to play that at a wedding.
Well, that's a great song. I think what a beautiful song it was. Although Looking for Love was a major hit for Johnny.
Yes, indeed. Had a chance to open for Johnny a couple of years ago, but needless to say, you and Johnny, y'all do some touring together, correct?
We've got several dates booked that we did around Texas, and I got another one coming up in August. And then we got one coming up in September in Pennsylvania that we're going to do together. Now,
in your touring adventures and everything, one of the biggest highlights that I've seen, you actually got to tour with Loretta Lynn and Conway Twitty.
Yeah, I met Conway Twitty when Room Full of Roses was the number one song in the nation. I had the number one song in the nation, and of course, Conway come down to play Gilley's. And Conway hadn't put two and two together and figured out that Mickey and Gilley's are one and the same. And I have the number one song in the nation. He's coming down to play the club. He listens to the country music stations, and he's hearing the song. And so on that particular night, on Saturday night at the club, I get to open a show for him. And I never will forget, I walked back in to say hello to him after I had to open the show, and I did Room Full of Roses. He heard me out there performing. And in the beginning, I was doing a tribute to my cousin Jerry Lee. I did all of Jerry Lee's music. But when I hit Room Full of Roses, the Karate Roughs, I walked back to say hello to Conway Twitty, and the first thing Conway said to me was, "Do you have an agent?" I didn't know at the time that him and Loretta Lynn owned the agency in Nashville. That 2 days later, I'm signed to. 2 weeks later, I'm on the road opening shows for Conway and Loretta.
Now, did Conway Twitty ever share any advice or anything about the business that you may have incorporated or use still today?
Conway, I sat and talked to Conway one night in his bus for a long period of time when I was trying to put a group together. Because I was backed by the Twitty Birds for the first. I guess almost the first year that I was on the road opening the shows. The coal miners backed me, and of course the Conways, the Twitty Birds. But yeah, he gave me some great advice about traveling on the road and what I needed to do. It's one of those things that it probably saved me a lot of time and a lot of effort trying to learn the ropes.
One thing I also want to ask you about, and I know you got a busy day ahead of you today, but before I let you go, and you probably get this all the time, but what you call the I guess what is the international honky-tonk anthem, one of your biggest hits is "The Girls All Get Prettier Closing Time."
Going there now. That's what I referred to. I said, when that song was handed to me, "The Girls All Get Pretty Closing Time." I tell the story in the show. I took the song, played it to my friend Conway Twitty. Conway looked at me and says, "No," he said, "I don't think you need to do this song." I said, "Why?" He said, "Don't you know the ladies are the one that buy the most records?" I said, "Okay." He said, "Well, think about it. You put them down when you talk about them getting better looking at closing time." I said, "Let me tell you something, Conway. My drinking buddy's going to love this song because it's a true story." Yes, and the bottom line is, I tell him, it's the national anthem of every honky-tonk in the world.
It certainly is. I certainly agree with that. We played it a lot down here, and it still stands today. Your music still stands as big as it was in the 80s among your fans and everything else.
Well, I will tell you, Russell, I will tell you this. Out of all the music that I've recorded in my career, one of my favorite songs back in the 80s, even though it wasn't a major, it was number one, but it wasn't a major impact song for me. But my favorite recording I made back in the 80s was "That's All That Matters to Me." I think that was one of the best records I made during that period of time.
Really?
That was my pick out of everything that I did back then.
That's pretty neat. It's pretty interesting. We'll set that up at the end of the broadcast and let everybody.
Yeah, that's an old Hank Cochran tune, and I've always I thought that my performance on that particular song was one of my better performances, and that's one of my favorites.
Is there anything that you're listening to on the radio today? What's some of the stuff that Mickey Gilley likes?
Well, my problem with today's country music is not country; it's more rock than anything else, and
Right.
That's not my cup of tea. They're not writing songs like they did back when back in the 70s, 80s when I was recording. I mean, Together Again, you don't hear that anymore. He Stopped Loving Her Today. You don't hear the kind of things like that. God, I know God made honky-tonk angels. Release me, let me go, Okie from Muskogee, all the things that Merle did, great songs. We're not getting that kind of music now.
Right.
And to me, that's not what I feel like country is really all about. To me, when I did the Academy Country Music Award show here at Dallas, not here too long ago, the only thing that I heard real country was my friend George Strait doing, All My Exes Live in Texas. And I'm thinking, where did country music go? I mean, but
yes,
we don't have the good, true country music sound that we had back with when Buck Owens and Roy Clark and Merle Haggard and George Jones and all these people. George Strait came on, great country music shows that George did. Even down to Garth. Garth came on real strong, and then all of a sudden he's going into the rock field. It looks like to me too, which is kind of disappointing to me. I mean, I want to hear good country songs. That's
a great point, and I have to agree with you. You can't relate really to what's on the radio today.
We need more good fighting, drinking, and cheating songs.
Yes, sir. And I do agree. I agree with that 110%. You can agree with the girls get prettier at closing time.
Well, Hello, Mrs. Johnson, at the Cal Smith had out,
Yes, indeed.
And all the tunes, the Country Bumpkin, you don't have those types of songs. Humpty Dumpty Heart, Hank Cochran, Hank Thomas, you don't have those kind of songs anymore. The Hank Williams, back, You Win Again, Cold, Cold Heart. You don't hear those type of tunes anymore,
no, sir.
Which is disappointing to me because I tune in a lot of times it's a really roadhouse so I can hear some of the old music. When you hear Conway Twitty singing Hello, Darling, and, Linda on My Mind, those songs really say something. To me, that's what country music should be,
Yes,
the stuff that I'm hearing now on country radio, it don't appeal to me. That's the reason why I listen to Willie's Roadhouse more than anything else is because I get to hear what I feel like is more country. That's just, that's my opinion. And, everybody, the kids that love this kind of stuff, and the guys that can go up and fill these stadiums up, I give them A+, but it's not my cup of tea.
Real quick, before I let you go and let you get back to your busy day, is there any advice that you can share with any young singer-songwriters, musicians, or anybody that maybe want to follow in Mickey Gilley's footsteps?
Well, I tell you what, I had the hardest thing to overcome because growing up in Louisiana with my two famous cousins, Jerry Lewis and Reverend Swaggart, and when I tried to follow my cousin Jerry into the music industry, it was a very tough time for my life because I kept trying to change what I was doing. And, the bottom line was when I recorded Room Full of Roses, I recorded for the B-side. And the first thing that I did was I stopped the recording. I said, maybe we shouldn't do this. It's going to sound too much like my cousin Jerry Lewis. And the bass guitar player said, who cares? It's going to be the B-side. Nobody's going to ever hear it,
Right.
And when I relaxed and just went ahead and then and went, I was myself more than anything else on the recording session because I didn't think it was a hit. Made your arpeggio and started in the song and just let it go, It turned out to be my first #1 record. So my suggestion, anybody that gets in the music business, be yourself. Don't try to change. Don't try to be somebody that you're not.
I can imagine the challenge. You guys were compared a lot to him. Well,
I notice a lot of people now when you hear people, I hear these new acts come on the scene, and especially when I'm watching TV or something, and see these shows, and everybody's trying to sound like my friend Garth Brooks. There's one Garth Brooks. We don't need another one.
Right.
I mean, he's got the that's his style. That's the way he sings, and he's a very proper act. Go ahead and be yourself, and maybe you'll create something on your own. When Garth came on, nobody sounded like Garth Brooks. Garth was Garth.
Right.
And the bottom line is, if you're going to act out there on the road and you want to make it in the music business, make it on your own talent. Be yourself. Don't try to be somebody you're not.
Amen. Mr. Mickey Gilley, I appreciate you calling in today. I really enjoyed talking with you. It was an honor and a pleasure.
Well, Russell, it's a pleasure and honor being on your show, and let's keep it country, all right?
We will, and we're going to keep in contact. and
it is a fact. It's a fact. The girls are definitely getting better looking at closing time.
Yes, indeed. For more information on Mickey Gilley, you can visit his official website at www.mickeyGilley.com, or you can go to his official Facebook update page.
Mickey Gilley's personal update page on Facebook.
And you're also on the Twitter at Mickey Gilley 1. So y'all check him out.
On Twitter. Mickey Gilley 1 on Twitter.